They were hoping this would slip under the radar. They were hoping that the volume would be low enough that nobody would notice the Fed printing $17 billion to bail out a silver short. But we noticed. For decades, the scheme worked like this. The banks sell paper silver to push the price down. If the price rises, they sell more paper. They have infinite paper, so they can always win. But the one thing that kills that scheme is a liquidity crisis. If you run out of cash to post margin for your new shorts, you can't sell anymore. You lose your ammunition. The $17 billion represents the bottom of the barrel. It represents the moment where the banks ran out of their own money and had to start using the taxpayers' money, via the Fed, to fight the market. This changes the entire dynamic of the trade. We are no longer fighting JP Morgan or Citi. We are now fighting the Federal Reserve directly. The Fed has stepped in to become the counterparty. They are effectively subsidizing the short position. But here's the catch. Even the Fed cannot print physical silver. They can print dollars to keep the banks alive, but they cannot print the metal to deliver into the Chinese market. In fact, this bailout makes the situation worse. Think about it. The banks needed cash because the dollar is losing value against silver. The Fed's solution? Print more dollars. Inject 17 billion new dollars into the system. What does that do? It devalues the dollar even further. It adds more fuel to the inflation fire. It validates the exact thesis that is driving silver higher. It is a self-defeating feedback loop. The more they bail out the shorts, the higher the price goes. The higher the price goes, the bigger the bailout needs to be. We are watching the beginning of a hyperinflationary melt. The trigger is specific. The trigger is silver. The trigger is a hard asset rebellion against paper promises. The skeptics will say, oh, 17 billion is nothing compared to the global economy. Wrong. In the leverage-heavy world of futures trading, $17 billion of margin represents hundreds of billions of dollars of notional exposure. And notice who tapped the facility. The data is anonymized, but we know who the players are. It wasn't the regional banks. Small banks don't have massive short positions in silver futures. This was the G-SIBs, the global systemically important banks. The whales. The very entities that told you silver was a pet rock are now pawning the family silver, or rather, the family treasuries, to survive the pet rock's revenge. This is the ultimate vindication for every stacker, every silver bug, every person who has held physical metal through the years of ridicule. You were right. You broke them. You held the line while they leveraged themselves into oblivion, and now the bill has come due. The $17 billion is the receipt. It is the proof that they are terrified. And do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking this is normal year-end maneuvering. Year-end window dressing happens, yes. But it happens in the open market. It doesn't happen at the emergency repo window to the tune of $17 billion on a day when silver is ripping 5%. The correlation is 1.0. This is a margin call. Plain and simple. So what happens next? If they needed $17 billion at $77, what happens at $85? What happens at $100? The Fed cannot keep this secret. As the repo numbers climb, the confidence in the banking system will erode. We are looking at a potential banking crisis that starts not with bad mortgages, not with tech stocks, but with a short squeeze in the monetary metals. We have moved past the point of market correction. We are in the phase of systemic rescue. The Fed is now actively managing the silver price, not by selling metal, but by keeping the shorts on life support. But a patient on life support cannot fight a war. The banks are incapacitated. They are zombie institutions now, existing only because of the Fed's drip feed. And zombies cannot stop a bull market. They can only watch it happen. The suppression is effectively over because the suppressors are bankrupt. They are out of ammo. All they have left is the Fed's credit card, and they just maxed out the first limit.